Hey guys, it's Amy here, and today I bring you my March book haul. So along with my new haircut, I've also accumulated some new books, so let's have a look at what I've been buying recently. So to kick off this book haul, I have a couple of non-fiction books, and those are a very short introduction to the Tudors and a very short introduction to World War II. I saw Lauren over at Reads and Daydreams mention these books, and I remember seeing them whilst I was studying at university. They're basically very short introductions to loads of different subjects, so there's loads other than these two. As I've recently wanted to pick up a lot more kind of non-fiction, historical, educational based books, I thought these would be really good, as they're each maybe like 150 pages long, and they're a really kind of short introduction to whatever subject you've chosen to read about. I know if I really enjoy what I read in these books, and if I enjoy the topic, then I can then go and find something a bit more comprehensive and a little bit longer maybe. Yes, those were the two subjects that I have particular interest in at the moment, the Tudors and World War II. Next I have a book that was sent to me from the publisher, which was Hotkey Books, and that is The Girl from Everywhere by Heidi Heilig. From what I've read on the back, this one includes pirates and time travel and things like that. I've not read a lot of books to do with pirates, so I'm quite looking forward to seeing if I enjoy this one. This book I have here is The Last Illusion by Porochista Khakpour, I think. It follows the story of a young boy whose mother is quite disturbed by the fact that he is albino, and she locks him away in a bird cage, and he lives like that for 10 years. From the back it then appears that he moves to New York and is adopted by a behavioural analyst who is trying to work out if he can move back into society and if he can reverse the psychological damages that living in a cage for 10 years has done to this young boy. It sounds very dark, but it's also something I think I would really enjoy. I did A-level psychology, and in that we studied a whole section on feral children and children who've had little to no contact with humans, or they've been locked away in cages like this young boy, and the way it's affected them psychologically. And I found that to be a very interesting topic to look into, so I think this is going to be a very thought-provoking read. Next we have Burial Rites by Hannah Kent. This follows the story of a young lady in Iceland in the 1820s. She's been accused of murdering her lover, and her execution date has been set. She is then taken in by a priest who I think is trying to absolve her of her guilt. Whether she did it or not is the question, and I think that's what I will find out when I read it. It's definitely one I think I want to pick up very soon. I've heard a lot of really good things about it. I don't think I've actually heard a negative review of this book, so I'm really looking forward to picking it up. Next we have The Gracekeepers by Kirsty Logan. This is the new paperback edition. As I mentioned I think in my last video, I much prefer paperbacks rather than hardbacks of books, so I am really happy that I got this one because it's absolutely gorgeous. This one follows the story of two young women, one who's living on a circus boat with a bear, and another one who's living in the ocean tending the graves of people who've died at sea, and eventually they somehow meet and their stories collide, and that's all I really know about it, to be honest. But yet again, I've heard really good things about this one, so I think it's going to be a good one. Next we have a graphic novel type book, and it is Psychiatric Tales by Darryl Cunningham. This is a book that explores mental health issues, and each chapter takes a different mental health issue, and the author Darryl Cunningham illustrates and kind of tries to explain what it's like to have that kind of mental illness. Before creating this book, Darryl Cunningham worked on a psychiatric ward, so he had experience working with people who had these specific mental health issues, so it's quite interesting, and I think it's going to be a good one. As you can see on the inside there, it's kind of all black and white, and I think it's going to be an interesting little look into different types of mental health issues, maybe ones that I don't know a lot about, so I will let you know what I think once I've read this one. Another graphic novel I have here is Deadly Class Volume 2. I loved the first volume of Deadly Class. I thought it was really great and probably one of my favourites from last year, so I'm looking forward to seeing where the story goes. This basically follows the story of a group of young people who are in a special school where they learn how to be assassins. See, there's an interesting choice in colours. Some of the pages are just completely like one colour like that, and then there's black and white as well. It's very interesting, so I'm looking forward to seeing what I think of this one. I hope it is as good as the first one. The penultimate book I have to show you is The Lie Tree by Frances Hardinge. This one won the Costa Book of the Year last year, and whilst I was trying to take a picture of it in my garden, I dropped it in a flower bed, so now it's a tad muddy, which is a shame. This one follows the story of a young girl who discovers in her father's journals the story of a tree that when you tell a lie to it, it will uncover a truth, and the greater the lie, the greater the truth. So she is on a hunt for this tree to see what it can do. It says on the back that her hunt for this tree leads her to great danger, so I'm looking forward to this one, and as it won the Costa Book Award, I'm hoping it's going to be really great. And the final book I have here is The Butcher's Hook by Jeanette Ellis. It's set in Georgian London, and it follows the story of a young girl who falls in love with a butcher, and her parents have already organised a marriage for her, which she isn't too happy about. On the inside flap here it says, in the matter of pursuing her own happiness, she shows no fear or hesitation, even if it means getting a little blood on her hands. So I think this one is going to be quite dark, a little bit creepy, and I think it's going to be really good. Like most of the others in this video, I've heard lots of really good things about this one, so I'm looking forward to picking it up soon. So there we are, my March book haul. Let me know what you've been buying recently, or if you've read any of these and what you thought of them. As always, I will leave links to Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, everything I've mentioned today down below. I hope you're all having a fantastic day, and I will see you soon. Bye! Or is I read ebooks a lot quicker than I do regular books. I have no idea why. I don't really understand it at all.